Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan. Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Let's go.
Welcome in. It's the Braylon Edwards with Shep show.
The sky is falling.
I gotta say, there could not be a better day to have 420 fall than a day you want to forget the day before. Smoke yourself into oblivion, short-term memory. You don't remember what happened last night. I'm Anson Wells. This is Matt Shepard.
You can help it.
I'm kicking things off today because it's my day, my official holiday, the unofficial marijuana holiday, April 20th. Get to one of our many, many dispensary and partnerships, NAD, PAX, all those guys.
Shout out
We're going to be telling some pot stories to start things off today. I'm really curious to hear some Shep stories.
Smoked a couple layups last night.
Oh man, listen, they came out.
Something else.
They came out high as hell.
They saw two rims last night.
Shoot at the middle one.
They were a Led Zeppelin song. They were dazed and confused.
To put it nicely, you know, I heard something you said last week, and we're going to have Shep handle a new read today. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I hope I don't get judged on it.
Shep, when was the first time you were offered the devil's lettuce?
Junior high.
And you said no.
I said no. So not junior high, junior year. When I went to high school, which is a lot earlier than all you guys, we were basically divided into three groups. Jocks,
Greasers?
bandmonts,
What?
or
No, wait, what?
or bandmonts. They were just
Like band people?
Yeah, band people. Or high dogs, people, stoners. We call
AKA
them,
burnouts.
call them burnouts, better way. So we would go to parties, but they knew that was not me.
Do you hate the smell?
I do. Yep.
Cam, do you like the smell of weed?
Absolutely.
When you drive by a skunk,
Absolutely.
when you drive by a skunk, do you get excited?
100%.
Me too.
Yes.
Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to put
I
your
know the
business
answer
out
to
there,
this.
but I don't think you really indulge, do you?
No,
And you don't. Have you ever?
I don't. Huh?
Have
I
you
don't.
ever?
Hello, Mom. I might have once or
Maybe
twice
once
in
or
my
twice?
life. Yeah.
Maybe once or twice?
Maybe once.
I have never in my life, never.
See, I
Never
want
taken- never taken a drug.
I want to
Never.
get a
Never wanted
Tigers
to.
watch party with Shep
That's
and
That is
Maz
not going to happen.
and some edibles.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Have you ever seen the Maz episode when he gets high on edibles at the golf course?
Can't say that I have. No.
It's
I don't know if it
fantastic.
would be a whole lot different than him not being high,
Well, Shep, I got to say,
considering some of his takes.
well, I will be indulging in some Loom immediately after this because there's something that I want to forget about
It's not
last
going to
night.
help you.
You want
It's
to
not
catch
going to help
us
you
up?
forget.
You want to catch us up, Shep?
On the
On-
Pistons situation?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is an overreaction Monday.
Are you sure?
Yes. Sometimes Kool-Aid will wear in his championship glasses or his victory glasses.
Yay, victory
He
shade.
has not done that today.
No Pistons gear on at all.
You can see now that you can tell that A, it's been a long night for him. B, it's been a really long night for the Pistons, and C, this has been a trying morning for him because usually he's very jovial when he comes in. He wants to start talking about him. He wants to say, what up, Doe? Here we go, and he can't do that today.
So I've done like 10 hours worth of Pistons content in the last 3 days. And I'm ready to talk about the Pistons, but
Well, I mean, look, and we're going to spend some time on the
ready.
Pistons. It's fine. Football is still king. We all know that. The draft is still a massive deal.
Yeah.
So my take on the Pistons from last night, a few things that bothered me. One, I mean, everybody looks at three-point shooting, and I get it. Each team had 10 triples. My bigger problem was their two-point defense.
Yes, sir.
They gave up 61% shooting to Orlando from 2 points, from two-point land, okay? Usually their defense is at about 51%. So it was that. The points in the paint is obvious. When you get out-bullied by 20 in the paint, that's a problem. And then Orlando had 11 offensive rebounds to Detroit's 4. Or 6, excuse me. That's an issue, all right? So I think here's the low-hanging fruit, and we all experienced it in our group chat. Cam doesn't really participate that much, but
I didn't participate last night either.
But you didn't participate because you were
Salty?
You were sucking your thumb in a corner. Okay, you'll participate every other time, but you will not do it.
How did you know I was a thumb sucker?
When your favorite team isn't winning, and that's kind of a sourpuss attitude, to be honest with you. Here's the low-hanging fruit: JB Bickerstaff's lack of adjustments, Jalen Duren. Right?
He played?
Yeah, right.
Did he play last night?
And I know. And the last would be, where's the Robin? To me, those are the three things that people will talk about, not only today, but they'll talk about it tomorrow and most of Wednesday until we see Game 2 and the Pistons even the series.
I kept waiting for Trey Murphy to bail us out last night.
I know. I thought.
Where was he, Kool-Aid?
I thought about all you guys.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was...
That's a fair comment, by the way. It truly is. Although Kevin Herter hit his first 3, and everyone was like, yeah, baby, this is what I'm talking about.
It was intriguing to see him as the first player off the bench. Obviously, Duncan Robinson gets into foul trouble early, got 3 early ones. And, I like him filling that role. That was not my issue.
Okay. What was your issue? Let me ask you I want everybody's biggest issue first and foremost, and then we'll take it step by step. Okay. I want the one biggest issue you had, and I think I know what it is, but share it with us.
I have to be careful in saying this. I said it to you before the show, and you corrected me. I don't want you all to think that I'm comparing him because of his personality, but JB Bickerstaff is in the midst of turning into Rick Carlisle 2.0. There's a reason that Cleveland let him leave in the midst of having this great young team that is ready to take that next step. You see, obviously this guy has been able to turn the tide and culture here in Detroit and get these guys lined up to play for him. But what I saw in that New York series, and you heard me very vocal about it last year, what I saw last night was him repeating it. J.B. Bickerstaff has shown me nothing as a playoff coach. Only 8-man rotation last year. 11 last night. Right. Your third best player has 22 minutes played with 6 minutes left in the game. That's Asar Thompson. Right? You've got Enes Jenkins.
9 minutes in the second half.
You've got Enes Jenkins, and no, he does not have his D anymore. Was absolutely awful. And I'm going to tell you right now,
that was quick.
The worst thing that can happen to Enes Jenkins is he hits his first shot. Because then he thinks he's on fire, and it's a heat check for the rest of the damn game. And I know he's our primary ball handler behind Cade Cunningham, but this man should not be on the floor more than 6 to 8 minutes. I'm sorry. He is a liability in so many senses. He's a solid defender, but he attacks, looking to score all the time, elevates, and then makes a decision in the air. Now, you can say that Asar is a liability in offense. I battled KG and Neil. I got a lot out. I got a lot of my eggs out. It's probably a good thing. But Asar...
You are under control so far.
Asar had as many offensive rebounds as the rest of the team.
Yeah.
All right? He had as many steals as the rest of the team. And I'm sorry, everybody talks about silly season and you dismay and you discard all of these performances by these G Leaguers and two-way players in April. Well, that's when Danis did his damage, and a little bit in November. That silly season. So you look back at some of the teams we were playing, they were literally running out 3-4 guys on two-way contracts or straight out of the G League, 10-day guys. Danis cannot be on the court as much as he is, and your second best player that creates so much for you in the loose ball game, the transition defense, the full court, half court defensive game, and just is a catalyst all the time. Asar has to play more, and JB has to adjust on the fly.
Well,
watching him stand there like this all game blew my mind.
Okay, but when you are struggling to score, which could we all agree on that? They struggle to score.
Nice.
Should a coach just stick to an 8-man rotation and be bullheaded and say, all I'm going to do is play these eight guys instead of searching for a remedy to try and find some type of offensive weapon?
No, I first and foremost, the 8-man rotation last year bothered me. I like going into our bench this year because we actually have one. You know where I have a problem? Is in the second quarter, or is it the third quarter? Third quarter, they go on a 10-0 run. They tie the ball game. Orlando's forced into a timeout.
Right.
And he sits everyone. And he comes back out with everyone on the bench except for Duran, who was the worst player on the floor for the Pistons, not named Anus last night.
Well, I think he was the worst player. He was minus 21.
He was awful. He was disinterested, flat-footed, aloof, and just absolutely caught without energy. But I'm sorry, you can't struggle for a half and then another 7 minutes, finally draw the game even, and then sit all the guys that made it happen.
Right. Look, I totally understand that. Now, the only thing I would ask you is to keep in mind regarding minutes played, and sometimes guys get a little bit more winded than others. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying I take that into account. Usually what a lot of coaches will do is they'll say, you got me back into this game. I'm going to stay in with you. It does beg this question, though, Anson, that has to be asked and answered. How long do you go with them? Because one of the guys who was on the bench was Cade Cunningham. Okay? So if you're going to keep him on the bench because that group right there.
Not to start the third. He was part of that. He was
okay.
part of that.
I thought you said Duran was the only one who came
Duran
back out.
was the only one that came back out. They sat Cade, they sat Asar, they sat Duncan, they sat.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the starters at the beginning of the third because they tied it twice.
Yeah, and then they went on that 10-0 run,
yeah.
and it might have been down one or they tied it. But they come out of the break, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Why are you sitting him? That's fair. I mean, it's a fair critique.
Yeah,
There's no
and
question.
To me, Javonte,
I was more bothered by. I hate this phrase, but I got to use it. The lack of energy that they showed or that they did not have. Orlando looked like the team that was well rested. Orlando looked like the team that was hungry. Orlando looked like the team that was beaming with confidence, even though it was, again, why I think home court can be way overrated. It's 11 straight home losses in the playoffs for the Pistons. Okay. And the same thing with
2008.
the same thing with the damn experience. I get a text last night. How do you feel about the lack of experience now? My response was, I don't know. How experienced is Orlando? Oh, that's right. They got their ass kicked 4-1 by Boston last year. How did the lack of experience help the San Antonio Spurs or hurt the San Antonio Spurs? Seemed to be just fine for San Antonio. How did it hurt the Buffalo Sabres, who had their first home playoff game since 2011? Seemed to be okay for me. How was home ice for Tampa last night? Montreal looked like they were in pretty good shape. I mean, look, can we just move off that? If the guys are ready, the guys should be ready. They did not look like they were ready last night. That should bother us more than anything. People are going to have bad games. People are going to have off shooting nights. We get that, okay? But to me, not ready for this when we heard all week long, basically all week long, from players who have been in that situation, Tobias Harris, who has said, look, we've been pressing against one another that are sometimes tougher than the games we've played. Where was that toughness last night? I'm not worried about it. I think they're going to show up. I think they're going to win this series. I am not bothered by them long-term in this series at all. But you can judge a team based on one impressionable game, and I think that's a fair judgment.
Yeah. I'm worried. I'm not going to lie, because what I saw.
Based on what?
Based on the 7 playoff games I've seen JB coach. I was very loud about it last year.
You didn't like the wins in New York, huh?
The wins in New York were Cade. Like, that last night, the only reason we were not absolutely embarrassed was Cade. And the moment that you take Cade off the court, we got a graph on that, show that. The moment you take Cade off the court, you know what happens to this team.
Yeah.
And what we thought we had this year, watching Cade go down and watching us succeed, watching Enes Jenkins,
There it is right here.
jump his game up. Look at what happens when Cade is not out there. All right.
That's from Data Baller. Go ahead, explain.
Yeah, this is last night's game.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, we talked about how good this team was without Cade during the regular season, but you see how terrible this team is without Cade. And as a coach,
Last night.
yes, last night.
Yeah.
As a coach, you've got to be able to figure out how to dial something up and adjust. And I've never seen that. If Cade is crushing, then yeah, we win a couple games in New York. But if Cade is just on, or everybody else is struggling, this team is. There's nothing that your coach can dial up to change that. Like the guys, like Larry Brown, Phil, all of these other guys, when they knew that their team came out flat like we did, they were able to dial something up. If you need energy, why is Asar Thompson on your bench? If you need energy, why is Javonte Green playing 4 minutes? If you need energy, why are you giving Ron Holland, supposedly this big cornerstone of your future, less than 12? Meanwhile, you've got the smallest guy out there, Enes Jenkins, who's supposedly not an offensive liability. Look what he shot last night. Look what he shot from the free throw line last night. And I know that he only had, I think, 1 turnover, but there's at least 3 more or 4 more points in that game where he elevates, makes a decision in the air, throws a bad pass, and it turns into a turnover for the guy trying to catch it. Now, Cade, you had talked about Cade. I wanted to bring this stat up about him. What was it that you had exactly asked about him? About his assisting?
No, somebody had on my radio show this morning. Somebody said they thought the Pistons moved the ball better without him on the floor. Which my response was, he's the second best facilitator in the NBA this year. That's number one, and number two, nobody puts great players, and I mean elite players. Sorry about that, elite players on the bench when your team needs them the most.
Right.
It's a ridiculous thought. It's an observation from somebody who isn't paying attention. 39 points in 40 minutes. It's not even that. Now, he wasn't great in facilitating last night, but he didn't really have anybody coming along with him. He had 4 assists and 3 turnovers. That's not a good situation.
16 assist opportunities that his teammates cashed in on only 4 of them.
Gotcha.
So you're basically setting guys up and they're shooting 25%.
Yeah, look, let me just push back on something you said regarding J.B. Bickerstaff, and I understand where you're coming from, but I also know, and this is predetermined on my part, so I could be wrong, that you have a burr in your saddle about the coach. You have not liked him for 2 years.
No, I like him. I don't like him in the playoffs.
Okay, you don't like him in the playoffs for 2 years, and when I said you didn't like the wins in New York last year, huh? And you said that's all Cade. They lost game 1 to the Knicks. Cade Cunningham was 8 for 21, dude.
And he fumbled that down the stretch.
Tobias Harris had 25.
Yeah.
If you're going to say it's all Cade Cunningham in the postseason for wins, he can't win you over unless Cade Cunningham plays poorly and somebody else elevates their game. Now, I'm not going to say that it wasn't his fault last night, because I was surprised at some of the minutes some guys got, including Dennis Jenkins. I was surprised that he went as deep into his bench as he did, but I don't think that as I've already said, what bothers me is he's sitting here admitting after the game that what the Magic were doing last night was packing the paint. You've got to find a way to get your all-star center more than 4 field goal attempts. And if you can't, and he can't, get his ass out of the game. Okay?
No.
I'm not going to blame everything on J.B. Bickerstaff and everything on Jalen Duren, because Dennis Jenkins had a problem. You know, how many times did Orlando go in the paint fearless and dunk on somebody's face?
Whatever they wanted.
Well, okay. How come nobody wants to blame Isaiah Stewart then?
Because he didn't get enough minutes. He had 19 minutes. I'm sorry, that guy.
So he's got 19 minutes. They're still jamming the basketball through the hoop in his face.
That's about what he normally gets.
I saw at least two good blocks out
He
of
had
him.
1 block, dude.
1 block.
He had 1 block.
Okay.
Yes, you'll pray. That's what happened. That's the group chat again. That's everybody going, what a block. What about all the other stuff? What about Franz Wagner going, here you go? What about Jalen Suggs? Here you go.
Who was defending Franz Wagner?
Tobias Harris?
And Duncan.
And Cade. Everybody got
while Asar's on the bench.
Everybody got
Right,
that.
but
work.
he
While
can only
Asar-
guard one guy.
Yeah.
Usually.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, who on that team do you want Asar guarding?
Yeah. Well, I would
What?
probably
Desmond
Jalen
Bain?
Suggs. Probably Jalen Suggs. or
No,
Desmond
I
Bain.
want him on Franz Wagner. He gives up, 2-3 inches? In terms of athleticism, that's who I'd have him matched up against.
enough.
And I'm sure that they forgot about him because he missed 50 games. But this guy, this is a true young trio. And I think the other thing that people are forgetting is the beginning of the season, Kool-Aid, this was a top 4 team. This is a team that gave up 4 first-round picks to go get their big 3, Desmond Bain.
Yeah.
And they do legitimately have a big 3. And I think people forget that how good this team is because they didn't get Franz Wagner back until April 1st.
That's a good point. Before the season began, Kool-Aid said Orlando was going to be, I think he called them their most improved team in the East and thought they would be a top 3, top 4 seed.
I thought they were a top
think-
4 seed.
I think a lot of people thought the same thing.
They forgot. This is a scary matchup. This is a scary matchup.
I'm willing to admit it. I forgot.
When
Yeah, I call this one
when we
4-2.
played Orlando, they didn't have Franz.
Yeah, it wasn't
When
a
we
healthy
played them
roster.
early on in the season and they beat us, they had Franz. And
Who was out of the game for Detroit in those situations? And
that's a great question. I don't have an answer for that.
Well, that needs to be answered.
Yeah. Well, Paulo Banchero is a scumbag, but he's got a real chip on his shoulder. He can't stand Tobias Harris. He gets up for games against Tobias Harris. And screw Jalen Suggs because that guy's hurt us more than just last night.
Yeah, I like
that's
him too.
for sure. But when you got a guy coming out in Jalen Suggs on your home court, a court that you haven't won in a playoff game since 2008, and he's out working everybody on your team, shame on you as a leader, as a head coach, and shame on everyone else in that locker room that fell in line with that listless performance. You know what it felt like? It felt like 2004 being on the other side of that Laker coin. Coming in and expecting to win. We're better. We're the number 1 seed. This is going to be easy. That's not what happened. Honestly, I see an absolute brawl. The spread's 9 on Wednesday. Take the points.
I think it was 8.5 the other night.
Take the
for
points.
Last night. Yeah.
I'm freaking out, man. You guys, I don't melt down over the Lions anymore. Expect it. This I did not expect. I knew this was going to be a battle. The way that team showed up last night and the way that they adjusted throughout the game, it scared me. Are you scared, Kool-Aid? I know you love them.
I'm not scared, and my love doesn't blind me from being able to appropriately talk hoops. It's been a part of my life for a long time, and it also helped pay for some of my
You
college.
saying I can't appropriately talk hoops right now?
No, I'm saying that we're all talking from our perspectives. I'm not even saying that the things you're stating are wrong, but I do believe that there are some factors to consider, especially with Danis Jenkins, who's playing his biggest moments for the first time in his career. That was that first game. You want to see better out of him. I do believe we will see better out of Danis Jenkins, but you need it more. The only reason why I don't crush him as much is because you got a guy in Jalen Duren who we want to see. Who are you? Are you a real all-star? Are you a guy that's approaching All-NBA? Or are you a guy that just, if your team has some wins, we'll throw them a second all-star and it'll be Jalen Duren. And that's where last night left a lot to be desired. This is a guy who I do believe is ready for his own post interactions and post touches, and for some reason they just don't want to give him that. He made 3 baskets last night. 2 of them were him putting his shoulder into the chest of the defender and hitting a layup, and they never went back to it. And
One was a jam.
Yeah,
One was a
yeah,
dunk, right.
yeah, and then the other one was a dunk. The third one was a dunk, and that's where I'm just like, I don't know what the game plan was there with the whole pack the paint thing. You're gonna hear that all series. This is the game plan. San Antonio Spurs did
56
it.
points in the paint, man.
They're going to do it on both ends of the court because the Pistons are your best scoring team, points in the paint, and your best rebounding team, one of your best protectors at the rim. So what did Orlando say? We're going to go right at your strengths.
For sure.
And the Pistons weren't ready for it. When they packed the paint, it disrupted the pick and rolls. I saw Randall Smalls earlier say, well, why didn't they try to get the lobs going? Look at the first quarter.
Right.
There were 3 or
They
4
tried, intercepted.
times. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Orlando
Yeah.
was kind of just ready. And that's where in the second half, that's where you look at the lack of adjustments. And you do say, you know what, JB Bickerstaff, you're going to have to come out with something different because trying to 3-point shoot your way over this team might not be it. And instead of them
They can't
using
do
their
that.
depth to go bigger in a game that it calls for grit and physicality, they instead chose off the bench to play all of their perimeter players rather than a Paul Reed. So it was Karis LeVert, Ron Holland. You have, obviously Danis Jenkins is in the game. Forgetting one of the other wing players they brought in off the bench as well. But that they ran that rotation instead of, in my opinion, I thought maybe you turn down some of Danis Jenkins' minutes, some of Karis LeVert's minutes, and give and Javonte Green was the other one. And give Paul Reed some of those minutes because I think that they needed that type of
I'd love to see Paul Reed in that
type of game.
A big man energy.
But let's be honest. If the difference between Detroit and Orlando is Paul Reed, they've got bigger problems.
Well,
No, they really do. So to you, let me just clarify a few things. You've talked since I've gotten into the studio about 45 minutes ago, an hour. You said, "What the hell with Asar Thompson?" To your point, you're right. He played 29, 23, and 31 against Orlando this year. 29 minutes in the first game, 23 in the second, 31 in the third. You said we didn't see Franz Wagner until, well, guess what? When Orlando beat Detroit, there was no Cade Cunningham, there was no Duncan Robinson, there was no Isaiah Stewart. So if you're going to give it an asterisk just to Detroit's 2 wins, you better make sure that asterisk is very positioned well against Orlando. This team better be able to win and score in different ways. They're not going to 3-point outshoot anybody from deep anywhere. Okay, so they've got to score tough twos, which is something that they've done all year long, and they have to establish an inside-out game.
And I think that Paul Reed helps with both of those. I think that the hustle that he brings in, the physicality that he brings in, and that inside presence in both shot blocking presence, but also rebounding both offensively and defensively. A couple things. Isaiah Stewart, 19 minutes, +6, plus minus. Javonte Green, 5 minutes, +4. Karis LeVert, only 4 minutes, +1. Kevin Huerter, 18 minutes, +7. The only 4 guys that were plus in that entire game.
That's interesting. And the only thing I would say is you're playing 5 minutes. A plus is, it can be very misleading. All right? The Stewart is a legitimate statistic.
But what we were missing in that game, and to your guy's point that said sometimes we move the ball better without Cade, that team will watch Cade at times. It happens. When he's not on the floor, there's 5 guys flying around, and that's what we saw when you had Javonte and Karis LeVert out there with Isaiah Stewart. Those guys are flying around. So to me, I know that Danis Jenkins flies around when he's out there, but it's largely out of control. To me, get me those veterans. Get me those veterans out there.
From at least for me, from what I'm seeing, it looks like just a strategy thing, and that's where this is more on JB Bickerstaff to me than any one of these singular players. There are things that you can do to break up that packed-in paint, and that will always discombobulate a ball handler like a Danis Jenkins, who's now going to be facing probably even different types of defenses than he saw in the regular season. That's where I do want to see JB Bickerstaff, and you talked about it a little bit, the cutting. Javonte Green seemed to be the only person to realize against that type of a defense, cut baseline.
Please.
For the love of everything. And Asar Thompson,
but why
with
is
all of
that?
his athleticism, just cut baseline.
But then why is that? Let me just say this. If you notice it, and he noticed it,
Colby from Channel 4
whatever. You have 19 coaches. How come they're not doing that? I find it hard to believe they're not. I think this is more on players. Okay, you don't have that many smart guys on the bench. Luke Walton, Jack, all these other guys. Okay, they're smart. They know what they're looking for. It had to be player implementation.
Seemed like they were falling asleep, and somebody else on the national scene, I forget who, so I'm sorry, I will give credit when I get it. They pointed out how they were effectively falling asleep on both ends of the court from behind the arc. On defense, they get absorbed, and I've talked about this before, they get drawn way much into the arc when they're the weak side defender, and then all the other team does is skip it over their head. This is something I started hearing after the San Antonio Spurs game, and now it seems like teams are going to attack the Pistons defense like that specifically because they start scrambling, and they can't effectively defend that from behind the arc, even if it's Asar Thompson. He even got caught napping a couple times, and I believe that's where a little bit of the headbutting is coming into play. And then on the offensive side,
Orlando's not considered a real good three-point shooting team, though. Okay, among the worst in the league, quite honestly.
No, but they were catching what's wound up happening when they throw the ball over their head. They have so much space that even if it's not a three, they can jab step in and drive into the basket, and it was creating a lot of the inside looks and easy layups at the rim that the Orlando Magic were getting. They were just swinging it once, twice, skip it over the defense, and then the Pistons defense just null and void.
What bothered you more, their lack of offensive continuity or their lack of defensive connectivity?
Lack of energy. for me.
Urgency. They didn't
It
play
was
like
just
this.
zero urgency.
Were they in a playoff game yesterday?
And if they
It
have
didn't seem like they
urgency,
stepped in
both
like
the
that.
things you just asked about are better.
Exactly. The urgency was terrible. It didn't look like Orlando looked like they knew we are in a playoff game. The Pistons, they walked out there like it was game 41-42 of the regular season.
Isn't that so surprising, though? I mean, look, we have taken our jabs, and rightfully so, with the Red Wings for their lack of urgency against New Jersey
kinda
on
hot.
fan appreciation and everything else, right?
Yeah, man.
We've done that, and they've deserved it, and I think a lot of people have done this. But the one thing we said about the Pistons all season long that has remained consistent, no one's going 82-0, okay? They won 60 flipping ball games. Why? Not because they were playing a bunch of G League players, but because they played with a sense of urgency. When their
110%.
offense wasn't there, their defense always seemed to be. I know there are you can make it certain San Antonio games. I get all that. But for the most part, we knew what we were getting.
Yeah.
We did not see, we did not notice, we did not
No
recognize
identity.
the team we saw last
100%.
night. And here's the other thing.
100%.
We are no longer measuring this team against Cleveland and Toronto and Philadelphia.
Amen.
There are 3 teams we measure them against.
right.
Hey,
In no
preach.
particular order, okay? We measure them against OKC. They won by 35. We measured them against San Antonio. They were comfortably in control. And we measure them against Boston, who opened up a proverbial can by 32. If you're going to be measured against those teams, and I know they don't always call for it, we're the ones who called for it, but if you're going to do that, then you need to perform very similar to what those teams were doing.
No doubt about it.
Facts.
No doubt about it.
Ding, ding.
We need to go to break, but I'm going to say something that's going to light you on fire. We'll talk about it when we come back. I'm sorry, but it was very clear to
don't
me
have to
last
apologize.
night that J.B. Bickerstaff is not the coach of the year, and Jalen Duren is not an all
the most
NBA
improved
player.
The most improved.
He is.
What happens
he is
if
that,
things
but he is
change
not an all
Wednesday?
NBA player. I'm sorry. Everybody says it's a regular season thing. Well, you remember when David Robinson won the MVP and then got housed in the first round by
Yeah.
the number 8 seed
It's
Denver
one
Nuggets?
game, bro.
No, I'm sorry. It's not. You
It
come
is.
out there.
It is one game.
It is. But you come out there in the midst of not winning a game on your home court last year,
Yeah.
not winning one since 2008, winning 60 games, and you want to make your case to be the coach of the year while Missoula's winning by 30. You want to be the number 3 center in the league when Şengün is putting up the game that he puts up, and then Duren is flat-footed and aloof and not carrying. I expect a whole different Duren on Wednesday, but the Duren I saw on last night, not all NBA.
You know what? I understand why you feel that way. I would just remind you, that's just the second game this year.
It's hot.
That Jalen Duren has attempted 4 field goals or fewer.
Shame on him.
The other
Get a
game.
damn rebound
Okay.
and miss another shot then.
The other game was the second game of the year, and he was ejected.
Yeah.
Okay.
So way to not show up for the biggest game of the year, Duren. He'll be there Wednesday.
I think Pistons are gonna
he's
pound the paint
he's
so
gonna
hard
be
on
pissed
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. Like, that's what I got to see out of both these guys. You really want to be all NBA in my head? Go out and show us on Wednesday. You want to be the coach of the year? Go and show us on Wednesday, JB.
You're right.
Yeah.
He did have 7 rebounds, but that's not enough.
No,
okay?
hell no.
I expect
20 and 10 minimum.
I expect 20 and 10 from him, and I think that's a compliment to him.
With at least 3 stocks.
Okay, that's.
Wait a second. Why are we asking for less? This is the playoffs for an all-NBA center.
Well, because-
top 3 center.
if
I'll
scoring
get
comes
17
down, the
rebounds
whistles go
in
down.
a game that we're getting owned in the paint. He
Yeah.
needs 17 rebounds.
I think the reason we said 20 and 10 in fairness to Kool-Aid and defense of him is,
In fairness to Duren.
is because, let's face it, we know Cade Cunningham is going to have to continue to play. Not that he needs 39 and 40, but he's got to play at such a high level. There's only so many shots you're going to get when Cade Cunningham is as good as he is and taking 27
But
of
that's
them.
my thing is Duren is that guy that has to manufacture rebounds, loose balls,
Yes.
effort, points.
Yes.
And that's what we've dominated
Yeah.
all season on.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of that.
No, you're right. I get that. Totally.
Pay some damn bills and
right, let's
well,
do
I
it.
can cool out. Kool-Aid.
Actually, I thought you handled that segment very well. I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
It's because I got to come in here and fight with KG all morning.
I really thought the vein on the left side of your temple was going to pop.
Yeah, this one in the middle is the one. You gotta watch out.
Luckily, it's just one game. You'll be okay.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, Kool-Aid, is this. I mean, I expect them to ... and we'll pick this up at the end. That expectation was for game 1, and they let you down. Okay? So we can be all high and mighty, and I'm not worried yet, okay? We can be all high and mighty because we love this team and we want this team. But, there's a part of us that also has to put it in neutral for just a moment and say, that's all right, this is going to be fine. The way they played is not conducive to winning in the postseason. The way Orlando played or was allowed to play is very conducive to winning.
Yeah.
And it'll be very interesting to see if Orlando is, quote-unquote, satisfied with getting home court by winning game one.
And I will say this, if there was a wider margin as it relates to the things that the Pistons did to shoot themselves in the foot versus not, I would lean more towards worry. But when you look at the amount of missed free throws, the amount of just careless, we said this, no cute passes, they were just throwing the ball away. And Orlando, realistically, if you're looking at it, they squeaked away. This was a game of runs in which if the Pistons took advantage of one of those runs late, we're talking about something different today. So that's
I
where
don't
I look
see
at
how
the
you come
ways
to that
they
conclusion, though.
No, they
went to the line 38 times.
and they missed
I
it
sit
9
here
free throws.
Yeah, but
and then the turnovers.
But I'm calling myself out here.
Yeah.
I bitch about how often they don't go to the line. How Cade Cunningham doesn't get the calls. And you know what? They got the calls last night.
Yep.
If anybody
They
should be
didn't
bitching, it
capitalize.
should be Orlando. That they didn't get as many calls as they should deserve.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
Pistons didn't capitalize. If they do less to shoot themselves in the foot, I think that they come away with a win last night.
That's a 29 free throws made, man. That's a lot at the stripe.
It is, but they missed a lot too in some pivotal moments.
If I got to take the glass half full based on that, if they had only capitalized, well,
No, I said that my
nuts and-
worry would be higher
I see.
if it wasn't that.
Yeah.
When you're turning the ball over carelessly in big moments, when you're missing free throws in big moments, when the MVP chance are going and you're missing, we talked about how some of these players over the last 20 to 25 games of the season, they improved their free throw shooting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff that we saw in those big moments, they just didn't have it together.
I
and that's
hate
what I'm
the
saying. Like, if it
MVP
was,
chant.
Yeah.
I
If it
hate
was-
the MVP chant. Shut up. Let the man shoot in silence. It's home court advantage. Shut up.
Oh, for God's sakes, it's not.
He's
It's
not
hot.
MVP.
It's not golf.
I'm not even going to try and cool
It's not
answer
golf
off today.
Why does he need silence? They
I'm not
play
even gonna
music
try
at their
and cool him off.
practices.
I'll tell you what, the one that he missed, they were totally off. They were like, MVP, P, MVP, P. I'm like, how is that not distracting? Synchronize.
Dude, the NBA plays music while the game is going
I
on.
can't stand that either,
Okay, hold
Shep.
on, but he hits a three straight away while the music is playing, but he needs silence at the free throw line? I think not.
Free throw lines
Yeah.
are different.
And I will say this, there were games where we know this. If Rip and Chauncey weren't like 90% free throw shooters, we might have lost some of them games against the Pacers
hell
and
yeah.
the Nets. That's what I'm
They
saying.
were money at the line.
This is one of them games where I think if you don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Even Ben made free throws in the playoffs, Kool-Aid.
And he was there last night.
You're right.
And here's Vin Johnson.
No, don't let Ben Johnson down. And
For real. We're talking about capitalizing. Listen, insurance companies are going to capitalize on you. They're not going to pay you out. They're going to stick it to you. You need justice. You need Vin Johnson. Vin Johnson Law Firm, they are the best in town. They got your back, whether it's insurance, cars, I don't know. Landlord, somebody trying to boot you out, give Vin Johnson a call. You can get a hold of him, venfights.com.
Yesterday, Art and Jake's was packed, all 6 of their locations, for a lot of reasons. They were watching the Pistons, watching the Tigers during the day. They've got great food. They've got 80 big screen TVs, and they
Yeah,
got
at least
22
eat your
beers
sorrows away.
on tap. 22 beers on tap. It is the best place where you can either drown your sorrows with buddies or celebrate with a high five. Either way, do it at Art and Jake's. It's the best place to go if you're into sports, good food, and good quality beer.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Injuries? Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
I guarantee you on your way to work today, you passed at least 8 Planet Fitness. There's 2,700 nationwide, 50 plus just here in Metro Detroit. Planet Fitness is for everyone. You can get in there for just $24.99 a month. They got the Black Card Spa in there as well, and you can bring a guest for free anytime you like. It's a great way to exercise your Pistons demons today. We're all strong on this planet, Planet Fitness.
Woodward Sports has taken over Loom Cannabis for their first New Buffalo grand opening event. It's taking place the first weekend in May. It is Saturday and Sunday. They're taking 30% off the entire store. So go out there and see Braylon Edwards, the heavyweights live. It's Saturday, 4 o'clock, May 2nd, right there in New Buffalo, Loom Cannabis. You can catch the heavyweights going again as they announce the winner of a $5,000 weekend getaway for two to Mexico. It's sponsored by Smooth House
Tulum.
On Sunday at 5 o'clock. There's going to be cornhole, top brands on site, massive deals going on all weekend long. Mark it on your calendar. New Buffalo, Michigan, May 2nd and 3rd, Loom Cannabis and Woodward Sports.
And tell the good people how they can stay hydrated this summer too.
Yeah, listen, it's colder than you think right now. And I know it looks nice, but it's colder than you think. It's going to start to warm up. We're all convinced of that. As convinced you are that the Pistons are going to come back and win the series against Orlando, I'm as convinced that that's going to warm up. How do you make sure you're staying cool during those hot summer days? And if you want to go Van Halen's hot summer nights too, after cutting the grass, after weed whacking the lawn, whatever it may be, I got a good one for you. Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Real vodka, real iced tea, no bubbles. Had euchre Saturday night at our house. Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea was a-flowing. Thus, a lot of people stayed later than they should, but that's okay. This season. Check it out. Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea and Woodward Sports. But please drink responsibly.
We on here talking to the fans right now. They're a little down after this game, man. They're a little down.
Hey, don't get down over that. I know it was a tough loss. I was down too. I just had to go gather myself, but that's what happened.
Yeah, hey,
you know, they had that week off. Orlando been in the like
playing. They've been playing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to get the Pistons, time to recalibrate, reacclimate.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna be good though. They're gonna be good.
Y'all better listen to Big Sean, dog.
Y'all better listen to the whole.
Y'all can't lose faith over one game.
Hey, don't lose no faith over one game. You know the Magic fan, they in here too.
Respect. Oh yeah, respect to them. Respect to Magic. They balled.
They balled out.
They balled.
Tip the cap to them.
But do I think that they could beat the Pistons in the series? I
give them your serious face. Give them your serious face. There you go. There you go, bro. Hey, one more thing. What do you think about Orlando posting Orlando versus everybody? Everybody trying to cop Detroit style.
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I don't think about it.
And we back.
Great interview, bro.
Yeah, we don't have to lose faith, but we don't have to have blind faith either. Okay, so there's a big difference.
You know about Big Sean, Shep?
Yeah, I met him in the Michigan locker room one time.
Last night I took an L, but tonight
somebody said, "Hey,
bounced
Big
back."
Sean's here." I said,
Hey.
"That guy's not big. What are you talking about, Big Sean?" I didn't know who he was.
Larger than life.
Yeah, I didn't know
Sean.
who he was.
Shout out, boy.
He's been a supporter from day one of
day
Woodward Sports.
one.
Shout out Big Sean.
Yeah, so good stuff there. But again, it's try to separate ourselves from fandom and, basketball watching pros is two different things. He's a fan, and I get that, and I respect that, and I love the emotion. But it's hard to convince some people, that not to lose faith, because there's a lot of people who like to overreact when it comes to this stuff, and I get it. That's the fandom in them.
Well, and I mean, at this point, it comes down to what do they need to change, right? I mean, Jalen Duren
what's the adjustment?
has to show up. And we all know that. I mean, he was the worst player on the floor. His plus-minus shows it. He's supposedly the second-best player on this team, supposedly an all-NBA guy, top 15 talent, and he just wasn't that yesterday. I believe he will show up on Wednesday. What I am curious about is what this 11-man rotation looks like, who the minutes are distributed to. Shep, who's one guy that's sitting way more than he played last night, and who's one guy that's getting a lot more minutes than he did last night?
Who's one guy who's sitting more than he did last night?
On Wednesday. For you, if you're coach.
Probably Kevin Huerter.
Really?
Who's the one who will play more? Maybe maybe Karis LeVert from a defensive standpoint.
Okay.
It's hard to deny that when he's only playing 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can see both of those.
I'm a big believer, and I'm not saying I'm right, because J.B. Bickerstaff I greatly respect, and he's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know. But I believe in the postseason you shorten your bench. I don't think you extend your bench.
Correct.
I would like to see them shorten the bench. Cade Cunningham missed how many games this year? 15, 16 games, something like that? 17 games? Jalen
Exactly.
Duren missed some games. They should be fine. Dude played 40 minutes. I am going to run them until I feel it is necessary. There are enough timeouts in an NBA broadcast where you could either utilize it or the media can utilize it, and you can get them rest. I don't like you talked about his rotation, and I understand that and I respect it. I don't like the length of players. I don't need to see. I want to see Ron Holland. Yes. I want to see Isaiah Stewart. I want to see. There's a reason you picked up Karis LeVert. You will probably need a guy like Dennis Jenkins to come in and handle the basketball for just a little bit.
6 to 8 minutes tops.
But you don't need him for 22. And if you want to put Paul Reed in there
17.
instead of a guy here or there, that's fine. Unless somebody gets in foul trouble. I mean, look at what Orlando did last night. They played Jalen Suggs out there with 4 fouls late in the third and trusted him. I want to see our guys play more. That's my 2 cents.
The core guys need to play more. I think that this isn't a perimeter battle. You don't need all of those wings out there. This is a paint battle, and you need some B-ball Paul, period. You need some B-ball Paul. And you really need it when you see Duren struggling and playing sluggish the way that he did. Bring a guy in there that's going to show you, hey, this is how you play with some energy. Obviously, Asar needs to be playing more. This is the third best player on this team. You can call him a defensive liability. You can say that he makes mistakes.
Offensive liability. Defensively, he's a strength.
I've seen so many more bad plays out of Danis. And I know that he's had games where he shoots the rock well, but that certainly didn't happen last night.
But you weren't a believer of him in the beginning. So it's hard. What do I always say? It's almost impossible to change people's minds once they've made up their mind.
And I've been saying
and
he
you
got
made up
his
your
D
mind
back.
about.
But I've been saying for a month he got his D back. All right, just like Stella got her groove
But that's
back,
why I
right?
say
That's why one game
But
to say he lost his D is a little ridiculous.
He looked absolutely outmatched. He looked like a college guy playing against pros last night. I mean, he truly looked really, really bad. And I think that there is some animosity between Asar and JB right now. I don't know why they're butting heads, but Asar had no fouls last night. That's usually the reason you can't keep him on the floor long enough, right? Yeah. He's got no fouls.
He ended up with just one.
Okay, and that was in the very last couple of minutes.
No, it's a great point. If he's not fouling anybody.
Yeah, it was on a play with Paulo.
So if he's not fouling anybody, and we know that offensively he's not uber talented, but we know he's got a role, okay, why is he not playing more? Who is the guy who's coming off the bench taking his place that is uber talented offensively? Help me with that. Go.
Yeah,
who is it?
Because sometimes with the ideology of coaches, it's not about if the guy behind you is more talented. It's about if the guy behind you is going to do what we ask you to do. And and I'm not saying that this is what it is, but in every situation I've seen like this, when a player like Asar Thompson is getting less minutes, it's because he's literally not doing something that the coach has asked him to do.
And we may not always know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of guys not doing what the coach was asked of last night.
And it's goodness. This is an interesting one because I'm just waiting to see what the adjustments will be in game 2.
It is the biggest question, don't you think, Kool-Aid?
100%.
I wouldn't say it may not be the biggest question, but personnel-wise, there is 2 major questions. Where was the aggressive and energetic Jalen Duren, and why was Asar Thompson reeled in after playing just 9 minutes in the second half?
Oh, yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep, and his offensive role just seemed to just diminish while he was out there. Not a lot of versatility, not a lot of actions, not a lot of running him off the pick and rolls. I said this on the stream last night. I saw Danius Jenkins literally set more picks for K.A. Cunningham than Asar did last night. That, to me, is this interesting stuff.
That's a good nugget. Now, he took more shots than Duren. He took almost as many shots as Duncan Robinson. I fight this with myself. How many is enough for me to be satisfied with Asar Thompson, knowing that he's not a very gifted offensive player?
Two or three of those were tips at the basket as well.
Okay.
And Asar does shoot 50% from the floor. When you talk about just the small differences between he and Ron Holland, Asar Thompson's actually a little bit more.
What does Dana shoot from the floor? What does Dana shoot from the floor? 39. Everybody want to talk about. I want to come back to what Shep just asked. Who's this skilled bench player offensively that you're putting in the game? Is it Javonte Green?
Marcus Sasser disrespect.
There's nobody on our bench that is just this polished offensive player. Now, maybe if you were bringing Duncan off of the bench, maybe, I look at this honestly. I think everybody in Detroit, including our team, was ready to play the Charlotte Hornets. Because the game that we went out and played yesterday would have beaten the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, yeah.
The fact is the Orlando Magic are big and strong and will dominate you inside if you let them. So coming out with Danius Jenkins, that doesn't help you, man. You need B-Ball Paul. You need an athletic Asar Thompson mixing it up there, getting the backdoor cuts, getting blocks, getting tips, getting offensive rebounds. The other thing I saw last night, how many tips and how many offensive rebounds were we just absolutely embarrassed to? Like, we showed zero interest in offensive rebounding. They were back tapping the ball. I mean, they just won that game at every single point of contention.
And that's why I don't believe that necessarily Paul Reed is what unlocks the Pistons to championship level. But sometimes there's certain players that can play a specific role.
Spark.
You remember Tayshaun Prince played a particular role back in the day for the Pistons. And that's where I look at him and I say
he could score, though.
He could score. And Paul Reed has shown to be efficient and can put the ball in the hoop as well. And that's where in a game like yesterday, when you're talking about all of those in contention rebounds, you need a player like a Paul Reed to go in there and battle with a little bit more height. I like Isaiah Stewart, but I've talked about this for 3 or 4 years. When it's those types of games, he winds up getting priced out due to metrics. And that's just how it goes. So now if there's a rebound and there's an extra half inch, sometimes your heart doesn't let you get there. And the Magic are scooping that and going down the court with it. Or on their side of it, they were going in and collecting. At one point in time, I think they were up 6 or 7 offensive rebounds to 1 for the Pistons. And it was just like, what team am I watching?
Exactly. And in the words of Herb Brooks in the movie Miracle, you're not good enough to not give the effort. When Orlando is out there doing the things that it takes to be successful, and you're not getting the hint. You want to do it after a 35 first quarter? Okay. Maybe you need to be shocked into coherence. Thank you, George Costanza. I just want to know why the hell it didn't really click for you through the entire game. We're talking about 4 quarters here. The first and fourth quarters, Orlando beat you up.
Owned them. Physically.
You know what's interesting is you brought up Tayshaun Prince. I remember a first-round series in 2003 against one Orlando Magic team. And the Pistons came out and were not inspiring. They didn't play with any energy.
It's nice to finally move on to the second round.
And they went down 3-1 in that series. And then a certain Tayshaun Prince was inserted for good into the offensive or starting lineup, And he basically buttoned up Tayshaun Prince, Tracy McGrady. I don't know if we have that guy to come off the bench, but I believe that we do. And it's up to JB to figure out who that is, shorten that rotation. It's got to be about 9-10 guys. 11's too much.
Can you imagine back in that day with social media and how people would have been freaking out?
Well, we were
down 3 games to 1.
We were freaking out, Shep.
Oh my God!
You know what? My greatest
now people want a statue of him for
top
crying out.
5 top 5 heckling moments. Game 7, I brought a case of tea bags to my section and the section next to me, and all game. You know what they were chanting in Orlando? T-Mac, T-Mac.
No.
We had 2 sections swirling tea bags. T-bag, T-bag.
Boy, that had to have gotten into his head.
Oh, he was
the elite.
It must have been.
Detroit
it must have
heckler.
been impossible to overcome that.
Oh, you really think that I didn't have effect on players, brother? I was worth 2 points every damn game. He doesn't believe that, too. Now, I won't tell you the battles that Shep and I had at the Palace.
I was worth 2 points every game.
Ask everyone in my section, man.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'll tell you.
Very first game, I took 2 points from Kurt Thomas because he was talking to me while an outlet pass goes over his hand to Chucky Atkins. Guess how many we won that game by, Shep?
2 points.
That's right.
And then Larry Brown said, before we get going, I got to thank one person.
T-Mac. Oh, you know what? You know what Chauncey Billups signed my Game 5 winning ticket to? To Anson Wells, the best shit talker in the world.
Oh,
wow.
You think I wasn't worth 10 points? 2 points. That really bothers me.
I don't, but
man.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are.
You think that?
I think
Chasey McGrady wasn't bothered by a few thousand people
Dr.
chanting
Stewart said, free the tea.
I'm sure Tracy McGrady has faced a number of those types of situations.
Not 1,000 tea bags.
I will say this: that's an A+ for creativity. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
Look at his numbers in that game.
So what do you think they need to change more than anything else?
Their energy.
Yep.
Their energy.
Urgency.
It all comes down to that. I mean, listen, the slate's even now, right? We'll both get a 2-day rest. You know, the rust or rest.
Yeah. That
equation is out the door now. Yeah. You have all the reason to come out with your hair on fire. You need a win in front of your home crowd. First one in a playoff series ever at LCA. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If this team dumps this first round, it's going to be whispers about JB's job, and there should be.
I think there's going to be whispers about a lot of people. Okay. There's going to be whispers about why didn't Trajan Langdon make a move at the trade deadline. That people
keep Toby here.
Well, people have said that about the Lions, and they've said it about the Tigers. They've said it about the Red Wings. The one team they really haven't said it about is the Pistons because they won 60 games.
Yeah.
But at some point, it is going to rear its ugly head, and it's going to do so when and if and when they get knocked out of the playoffs. Would one guy have made the difference? You and I both know the difference here.
Trey Murphy.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, you said that. A lot of people have wondered, where is, let's use the cliche, where's the Robin? Is there a guy capable of being a Robin in the postseason? And if so, who is it? Now, we all know
supposed to be the guy that didn't show up last night.
I think it's supposed to be Tobias Harris in the postseason. Well, when I think of a Robin, I could have a wrong definition.
It's supposed to not be him. If we're going to win, it can't be him.
Fair enough.
It has to be Duren, and I don't think that we have that guy because Duren is showing.
But you just said they had a guy coming off the bench to give them that.
No, they don't. They need that.
They haven't identified it.
They haven't identified that. I believe that they do have that guy. I don't know who it's going to be. It was Beasley last year.
Yeah.
Beasley was able to come in, but he lost as many games as he helped win for us. And I don't know who that is. I mean, I look up and down here. I believe, I've said this all year, I think that Karis LeVert can win you a playoff game. I think that Javonte Green can come out and hit 4 trays and put up 17 points and help you win a playoff game.
Hard for LeVert to do that in 4 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, maybe he got injured again. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe they just didn't like the lineup. At some point, J.B. Bickerstaff had to say to himself and the coaching staff, we've got one guy scoring here. I've got to find a remedy. So I've got to go into our bench and find some guys. Now, you were right. I was stunned that Kevin Huerter was the first one off the bench. I was still stunned that Danis Jenkins played 22 minutes.
When he was shooting as poorly as he was
Yeah.
and making bad decisions in the air, missing free throws, and he's still out there. Like,
what does it take to get pulled?
The fourth quarter, when you just sit Cade in the middle of the quarter, like, because that 1 minute blow got him through the rest of the game and got him his. I don't get what JB's doing. I need to see a lot more of him on Wednesday, bud.
I think when we see the starters play the way that they're supposed to play, then we'll say, I see exactly what he's supposed to be doing. But when you see that team go out there with no urgency, they're not playing as if these games matter, and you're going to see exactly what you did. And they got popped right in the first quarter by a team who's a lot better than a lot of observers honestly gave the Magic credit for. Now that they're healthy for the first time all season, honestly, maybe the Pistons also got caught, kind of looking not necessarily ahead, but looking over who the Orlando Magic actually are and what they're going to bring to the series.
Well, Anson said he thought everybody was preparing for Charlotte. Do you believe that? Mentally, that you're starting to believe,
I don't really want to say that, but I think that, like, our fan base thought it. I think
I thought it.
And honestly, the game plan that we played last night would have worked. We might have beaten Charlotte. But it's a complete...
Charlotte would have made more than 10 threes, though,
for sure, but we were focused on that perimeter defense, and we just were ignoring the paint. And then all of a sudden, by the second half, you're like, well, we're getting owned in the paint right now. And that will continue if they don't play a more physical brand of basketball and they don't tailor the roster rotation that they use to be able to battle with these big guys. I'm sorry, but Danis Jenkins is the smallest guy on both teams.
You know who led everybody in plus minus, if you're into that, because you brought up Isaiah Stewart plus minus. Because Wendell Carter was a plus 20.
He was great last night. He was really good.
He was a plus 20. Like, that's what I mean. He was 8 for 9. It's about efficiency. I don't need a ton of points from somebody. He got 19 and 8. All right. Do I want more than that from Jalen Duren? Slightly. But if he gave me 19 and 8, I would feel a hell of a lot better because it was an 8 for 9. And it's almost like he was searching for his shot and he was demanding the basketball and things of that nature. That dude's a plus 20. Our all-star's a minus 21. And I love Duren. You know that. Probably my favorite player. But
7 rebounds in 33 minutes for that man is not
one offensive
going to cut it, man.
One
it's
offensive
just not.
rebound.
So
he just wasn't exerting his will.
I'm hoping they give him the opportunities to exert his will because the plays that were calling for him were all off of other actions and passes and lobs. Like I said, the couple times that the offense forced the ball into his hands as the shot clock was expiring, he dominated the paint. And if you have to slow the game down, give him at least. I personally would give Duren at least 3 or 4 looks in the paint.
You know what?
Early.
Per quarter. I don't know if you know the answer to
Back
this.
to the basket.
How many touches did he get? Like, I don't need him deep all the time. I think he's proven this year he can do a little creation on his own. From the elbow, take it down the lane. He can do some things if you give it to him in the mid-block. How many touches do you think he truly got in an offense where it was actually an option for him to shoot? I'm not talking about popping up in a zipper play where I'm just getting the ball and immediately I'm getting rid of it.
Based on 4 shot attempts, I'd say less than 10.
Okay.
And you can't. That's
and that's
inexcusable.
probably not enough.
No, probably really hell no, it's not.
But Shep, they didn't even use him as like the zipper or up at the top of the key to just turn and look. That's how you break up when people pack the paint, because when you throw it to the center and then Cade darts out to the corner, what's the 4 people in the paint going to do? They're going to spread back out. And what can Duren do?
Go back down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
so then it begs.
Like it was right there.
Well, then it begs my question: is that a lack of interest in his part, a lack of recognition by the coaches, and I'd like to know why a player of that caliber doesn't say during a timeout, and maybe he did.
Get me the ball.
Yeah. Can you get me more involved? Right.
He has to demand that.
But at the same
But
point,
I don't know that I don't know that he did.
But at the same point, he has to manufacture that. I mean, that's the biggest, strongest man on the court, and you got bullied all game. You're supposed to be the bully. You're supposed to be making plays happen, finding loose balls, throwing bodies around. I didn't even see good fouls out of him. I thought that dunk, after he made that dunk, he'd wake up. He didn't.
Yeah,
but
I thought so too.
He's got 2 days to get awake, and they need him. We need him bad.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to do Braylon's Ballers and Bums, and we're going to dive into some football discussion with the Lions. It is draft week, and I know everybody's excited after this from a state's title and pure psychiatry.
That's right. I'm going to start off with the state's title agency. I told you, former.
And you're going to continue with pure psychiatry.
That's right. Former title agent here, guys. I have to say this. The title agent works for you. They don't work for the real estate agent. They don't work for the lender. They work for you. They're making sure that you're not getting taken advantage of. They're watching your money. And Nabi Saad with the state's title agency is the best in the business. They make closing simple and convenient. The Southeast Michigan partner for your smooth, secure closings. Give Nabi a call. You can reach him directly, 313-623-6727, or get a hold of their office at 248-647-3600. And I got a little more for you, right?
Yes, you
Pure
do.
Psychiatry, guys.
Let's go.
I need these.
Come on, man.
I'm making
you
a call
gotta
today.
be in rhythm like the Pistons
I'm
were not
making
in
a
rhythm.
call today. I need to make a call today because I'm losing it. Flat out. Listen, it's easy to talk sports, but it's difficult to talk life, especially for us guys. Whether it's talking about anxiety, PTSD, or you just need some general counseling, you're not alone, guys, because we have partnered with Pure Psychiatry, a company that tailor makes your therapy just for you. They're all over Michigan. They even got a couple in Ohio. Check them out at purepsychmi.com.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports.
The Pistons ain't over yet, y'all. We just getting started. Don't forget about our Tigers either. Get that Caesar Sportsbook app, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Why? You can place any bet up to $1,000. If you lose, though, you get that back. All you got to do is scan that QR code, enter that code, Woodward1000. If that first bet doesn't hit, you'll get your deposit back up to $1,000. That is correct. $1,000 back just for giving it a shot. Minimum bet $20. Download that Caesar Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code on your screen. And most people think energy comes in a 16-ounce can full of sugar in neon colored liquid. But hey, we all know better. It's time to upgrade your game with Thrive Energy Pouches. This ain't your daddy's dip. It's tobacco-free, nicotine-free, mental powerhouse, packing 300 milligrams of clean, smart caffeine, including alpha, GPC, and L-theanine. No jitters, no sugar crash, zero bloating. Grab your tin today. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit dipstop.com. Use promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order. Thrive Energy, zero distractions. They just flipping work.
I mentioned we had euchre on Saturday night. A lot of beers. A lot of Sun Cruiser vodka iced teas. That means with beers, it's Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. Got a case of that. Some of my buddies trying it for the first time. They're like, Shep, this is really good. I think I could have another one of these. I said, you're welcome to. Just be careful because I'd like to save some for me on a nice spring night while I'm watching games. $5 shorts. I should have told them this. $5 shorts of Sam Adams Cherry Wheat available for you at Art and Jake's locations across the great state of Michigan, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Light, refreshing, and of course brewed with real Michigan cherries. You want a good beer? Sam Adams Cherry Wheat is the answer.
And we back.
Want a little money on euchre night? A little bit.
You a cheater?
No, I'm not a cheater.
It's legal.
I don't need to.
It's legal to cheat in...
What, like steal the deal?
Yeah. I love stealing the deal.
Well, we do have quite a few people who get involved in conversations and may have a couple of things to drink and lose track.
That's the deal. Mm-hmm. That's the deal.
Part of it.
I do have a buddy who can deal. He can stack the deck for sure. But we don't do that. It's amongst friends. But we do play for money. So won a little bit of money. Had a blast. Had a really. And during the conversation, and we'll get into this here in a minute after we get through Braylon's Ballers and Bums. A friend of mine said, the Lions just don't spend money. What are they going to... No, the comment was... The question was, what are the Lions going to do in the first round? So we start talking about it a little bit. And then they said, the Lions don't spend money like Philadelphia does. It's interesting. I said, how so? I said, because cap space, Philly's got more cap space than the Lions. That means the Lions have spent more money than Philly. So...
Capital, maybe, is he thinking? Because they're willing to spend capital.
I think he's referring more to they find a way to make a deal, Saquon Barkley. They find a deal at the trade deadline, Jalen Phillips. And they associate that with more money spent, which is not always the case.
Bigger balls. It's just bigger balls.
Right. That's exactly an
And,
AC/DC
and when
song.
when you cash out and you get 2 rings out of it, you're willing to take those risks in the future.
100%. And most fan bases are right there with you.
And this franchise is terrified of losing relevance, losing revenue, even though they continued to sell tickets when they were terrible.
Yeah,
But
they're never going to.
They have a great product right now.
Yeah.
Even though it's not
Great
a
is over.
Super Bowl product, it's the best product that we've seen out of Allen Park, really in our lifetimes. Continued.
Yeah, great is overused. It's not a great product. Otherwise, they win a Super Bowl. But to your point, we've had 3 good years where it's more than piqued our interest. It's gotten us energized on a week-to-week basis. So I think that's a fair statement. They're always going to be relevant. Always. This team will never not be relevant in this city.
Well, I wasn't just saying in the city. I mean,
you're saying the
mean
NFL. I'm
NFL
sorry.
relevance.
Okay, yeah. You're right. I mean, when you're getting highlighted on the national stage, then
selling
even though a lot of people here like to say that they're always disrespected, they're not.
Highest value ticket in Detroit and across the league.
All right. Every Monday on the Braylon Edwards Show, we always do ballers and bums, the best and the worst of the week. Usually, Braylon goes first. Would you like to go first? Who's your
you
baller?
couldn't guess. You could never guess.
Your baller? Who's your baller?
Oh, my baller?
Well, that's what we always start with a positive. I know you
Well,
like.
we know he loves Danish Jenkins.
I know you like to be negative.
I got to give it to Jalen Suggs. I can't stand the guy. He really turned Jaden Ivey into a zealot. Free Ivy. And the guy just came out and set the tempo for an 8 seed to come into a hostile environment and absolutely not steal a game, but absolutely dog walk the number 1 seed, 60-win Pistons. So shout out to him. The guy was electric, and I mean, at any point that Orlando was questioning themselves or their teammates, all they had to do was look to him and follow his lead. On the other side of the ball is the non-baller.
Well, wait a minute. That's the bum. Okay, hold on. Let me do my
He's
baller.
the baller. I've never done this before. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We just go
you do
ballers
you do a
first. I got
baller,
you.
I do a baller, then we do
Fair,
bums.
fair,
Okay. My baller is Jake Cronenworth. Saturday night, and he's from St. Clair Shores.
SCS.
And the Padres first baseman. He was in Los Angeles
Shout
against
out.
the Angels. He and the Padres, and it was a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Him against Yusei Kikuchi, and it's a 1-2 pitch, and he takes one in the jaw at 96 miles per hour.
Ouch.
Most people would think a baseball player stays down. But here's what you would have to remember. He's a Michigander. And
That matters.
It does.
And he played hockey growing up.
Both matter.
What happened? He got up, and he stayed in the game. Now, it wasn't a great game for him, but he still stayed in the game after taking one 96 with stitches right there in the jaw.
Did you ever get hit with a ball real bad?
I have. Oh yeah, yeah. Not from 96, but absolutely. I got plunked on the head, not in the face. But pretty cool that he stayed in the game. So the toughness was there. Detroit pride, baby. Jake Cronenworth. All right, time for the bum. Who's the bum?
Woo!
Just rewind to the beginning of the show, people. No.
Can I?
I'm just excited to see which one it is.
Can it be a 3-way tie?
No, it cannot.
Fudge.
No, I told you I was getting one in today. Can't believe it didn't come out in that first hour.
Same here. I thought for sure we were.
Yeah, I wanted it.
If there'd be one of the award finalists and not the guy who just walked into a contract.
Well, I'll tell you what. He just walked into $40 million less.
Okay. All
My
right.
bum.
I respect it.
Should be JB.
It's not $40 million.
I'm not going to. Well, he would have won $40 more million if he didn't embarrass himself last night. I got to say, it's not Anus because he's not a baller, so therefore he can't be a bum. He's just always
He's a hooper.
a bum.
Shout out
No,
to
he's
him.
not. He was a hooper in college.
And for most
Hooper's
of the
the
season.
mascot.
Most of the season, he was a
Jalen
baller.
Duren, man, come on, dude. You're supposed to be top 15 guy, top 3 center. You're supposed to be the Robin on this team. You're supposed to show up. You're supposed to be the bully in the middle. You were flat-footed.
dog.
You were disinterested. You were aloof. And
The dog.
you really, I mean, honestly, if I was Jalen Duren today, I'd be pissed off and embarrassed.
I'm sure he is.
And I'm sure that he's going to bring it on Wednesday. So a bum for only a day.
Yeah. See, that's. I'm glad Kool-Aid said that, because this is how we describe them all year long. DAWG, dog. And last night, unfortunately, they were DOG.
Walked.
And that's not good. Here's my bum. My bum is
Could
Ty
put
Simpson.
another term after the dog,
Ty
too.
Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama, was on Caleb Downs' podcast. Caleb Downs will be a top 10 pick. The floor is probably 10.
Incredible
the ceiling might
safety.
be 5. Yeah. Some actually like Thieneman more than him, believe it or not. But anyway, he was on Caleb Downs' podcast. And he said this about Indiana. He said, quote, "From my point of view, I was like, they don't do much. They do the same thing every down. So when I got the ball, I knew exactly what was going to happen. They were in the exact same spot they were supposed to be." Alabama lost 38-3 to Indiana. Ty Simpson.
They were exactly where they were supposed to be. That's a quote?
That's the quote.
Well, there's your answer, dude.
Alabama gained 193 total yards. Ty Simpson was they were 3 for 11 on third downs. Simpson was 12 of 16 for 67 yards.
You know why?
Before he left the game.
Because Indiana was right where they were supposed to be.
Yeah. So Indiana, this could have been easily your baller. Indiana's defensive coordinator is Bryant Haynes. Bryant Haynes' response on social media to Ty Simpson's idiotic comment
scoreboard
was gold. It's actually a little bit more than that. I love this. He said, quote, "adorable."
That's it?
No.
Oh.
We also saw everything they were doing on every single snap. It's just that we exploited those cues and didn't get frozen and crushed them. That's all it took to break your entire fan base. Maybe I should have said boo. No apologies, no compliments. Grow up, folks. He had a bad take, and I said the painful truth. Bounce back better. Go IU. Really good response. Therein is my bum. Ty Simpson. Does that matter much to you when a guy acts like that? It's probably innocent.
When they're
but still.
21, 22, not so much.
Okay. All right. I guess I get that.
I mean, I'm sure that they have PR people and all of that stuff, but you just see these college kids do some really dumb stuff and say some really dumb things. You still see it at the professional level, but they've got a much better in-house support system to coach them and help them avoid those type of situations. But yeah, that's. I bet he's going to get a little bit of love in the locker room after that one.
By the way, not that this is breaking news. Tigers lost today in Boston, 8-6. They split the series with the Red Sox at Fenway. It was Patriots Day. That's the reason they played an early first pitch. Jack Flaherty didn't get the loss, but Jack Flaherty was not very good today. Jack Flaherty lasted 3 1/3 innings. He threw 73 pitches in 3 1/3 innings. He walked 6. He has walked 20 batters in 23 innings. That's a serious issue. Like, if you told me it's an ERA of 3.47, I could live with that with Jack Flaherty.
What's his whip at? Like
Okay.
1.5 or better? Or worse, I mean?
But I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's updated. I don't know if it's updated right now. His whip was 1.6 going in. That I can, maybe it's 1.6 now. But 6 walks today and 20 in 23 innings. That flies in the face of what the Tigers are always preaching.
1.586.
Okay.
He does only have a 3.47 ERA. You got to give him that.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, I said 3.47 ERA, and he's got, that whip is just. That's
I was thinking about all those walks, man. That's wild. 20 and 23.1.
Isn't that crazy?
Yikes.
So, anyway, the Tigers split there in Boston, and they move forward. They're 12 up and 11 down on the season. Brian Branch is working out with a more famous player who had a recent injury to his Achilles. Yep. If Brian Branch can come back the way this player did, then the Lions will be in pretty good shape.
Yep. I got some. I have an insider.
This is really good information.
I have a Lions insider. Let me pull this up real quick here. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. Jason Tatum putting up some big numbers well less than a year later for the Celtics right now. I believe he did that in June. He came back in late March. So you're kind of looking at that 9-month window, which is what they say on the short side of things. But it's more about coming back from an injury that up until the last 5, 6, 7 years, and Achilles you were done,
and he's been really good since coming back, as you said, right? I mean, he's been put up some
fantastic.
Impressive numbers.
He's been very fantastic. Yeah. So, quote unquote, when players go to Europe to get these sorts of surgeries, because right now he is over in Germany working with the same rehab team. Brian Branch, bringing the same team that brought back Tatum. When they go to Europe to get these sorts of surgeries, they are able to take a leave of absence from the NFL, and then they are no longer drug screened. So a lot of them will juice and bulk up while they are over there, and then you can do this blood transfusion filter to essentially remove any evidence that you were using steroids before you come back to America and get tested again. Going a little too deep there. I don't want to have anybody getting tested or anything. But
you're not suggesting that he's juicing over there.
Listen,
you're just talking about a doctor in Germany who did the same procedure for Jason Tatum that might be doing it for Brian Branch.
And you look at some of these guys that have gone overseas, that have done some of these things, that have come back in better shape, that have come back from injuries that supposedly you can't come back from. And, if you listen to the morning show at Sean and Maz, you listen to Neil, every single show we're always talking about Kirby and Beebe, because we know this defense, as much as it's been neglected through player acquisition since these guys have been here, it's really revolved around those two guys in Hutch. We are hearing that Kirby's ready to come back and play week 1 and be healthy. Brian Branch is the big concern. This is great news, though. This means that we could be seeing him around week 10, and we could be getting a Jason Tatum level performance from Brian Branch.
That'd be something special. Speaking of that, real quick, as I sidetrack quickly, I was thinking about this yesterday. Boston beat the snot out of Philadelphia by 32.
Coach of the year.
In 2016, the Philadelphia 76ers took Ben Simmons number 1 overall. You know who went third?
Hall of Famer.
You know who went third? Jaylen Brown. In 2017, Philadelphia took Markelle Fultz number 1 overall. You know who went third?
Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
And they were tanking for good reason. Remember, Philly was tanking for those picks.
Can you imagine? If you're Philadelphia and you're going, what could have been, and they're shoving it in your face, Brown had 26, Tatum had 25. So when you see yesterday, it was something else.
Draft Terry Fair over Randy Moss.
Trust the process.
Yeah, but a lot of people passed on Randy Moss. 17 teams passed on.
That's right.
Detroit also chose not to draft Dan Marino, and a lot of teams chose not to do that either.
Chuck Long, baby.
Here's my question regarding the draft. Who's the player that is mocked to Detroit? Not every mock is the same, but is mocked to Detroit that worries you the most? Because I have one specific guy who I'm worried about. And I think there's a lot of people. It's not getting as much traction as before, but it's still getting traction on this guy could be a Lion at 17 on Thursday night. Who's the one guy for you?
I don't want to say it because I know it's the same guy.
It's okay. Say it.
It's Caden Proctor.
Right.
There's just a lot of concerns that I have for him. I think that he can come in and be a decent offensive lineman in this league. I think that he'll be, have some lasting power. I don't think that he's the impact guy at all that some people are viewing him as. I know that the Lions have had him in for a formal interview, which concerns me because they only draft guys that they've interviewed. I'm thinking that I've been hearing that.
Is that true? They only draft guys that they've interviewed?
Largely. I mean, It's like 85 to 90%. It's not until later in the draft where you'll see them select guys that they didn't have them in for a formal interview. I'm hoping that it's Cleveland. I think it was Easy that said in the chat, he's like, Cleveland is going to get fooled into the reach before the Lions can take Proctor. They're mocked at taking him. Seems like a perfect Cleveland Browns miss.
So mine is Caden Proctor too, and here's the reason why. And if you missed it, Braylon did a great Braylon's breakdown 2 weeks ago of Caden Proctor.
Yeah, he's not high on him either.
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
He's very high on him.
Oh, I thought he was a Blake Miller guy.
No. He's not high on Blake Miller because Blake Miller plays too high. And I don't mean in edibles. I mean in plays high at the right tackle position. He's
off
big.
that mass pack.
He's big into Caden Proctor because he thinks he's a mauler, and he thinks he's athletic. This is my biggest concern. And my biggest, do you remember a guy by the name of Lincoln Kennedy?
Sure.
Anybody remember that? Okay.
Great comparison.
Lincoln Kennedy was one of those guys who had a weight problem in college, and it continued to it remained a weight problem. And if a player's coming in with a weight issue, and immediately you think, okay, your offensive line coach can help him, your dietitian can help him, and your strength and conditioning coach can help him. The problem with that is Alabama goes all out for everything that they do for football. So my guess is they got a pretty damn good weight coach, they got a pretty damn good offensive line coach, and they got a pretty damn good dietitian. All right? It's just my thoughts. When you have a weight problem, and it was reportedly roughly 390 pounds before he lost 40 lbs to get to 352, that is a long-term problem because it's also a long-term health issue. It's more on your joints, and I don't mean edibles. It's more on a lot of the things that you try and do and need to be able to do. And then on top of that, if you are that heavy, are you able to handle the speed rushers that are aplenty in the National Football League?
Not week after week, year
So
after year.
that's my deep concern with him. I know who I like from a tackle standpoint, Monroe Freeling. Hope that he's there. Would be giddy as all get out if he were. And I know who I like in the second round, Gabe Akis, the linebacker edge rusher for Illinois. But if they take Caden Proctor, that's one of those things I think I'm going to monitor for a long, long time. I probably would rather have them take probably 3 tackles ahead of him. Fano probably won't be available. Freeling might not be available either. But I'd take the kid from Arizona State, and I'd probably take Gabe Miller over I'd take Caden Proctor because of those reasons.
I'll take Proctor in the 4th round. Caleb Proctor, Southeastern Louisiana. I like Caleb Proctor.
Well,
real good 4th round pick.
On the other hand, he did play at Alabama.
Sure.
He played a lot at Alabama, and he proved that he was pretty damn good at Alabama. So
they sure couldn't move Indiana around.
Unless you're Ty Simpson saying that, for some reason
they knew where they were going to be, though.
He was living in a fantasy world. Yeah,
that's the most ridiculous quote ever. We knew where they were going to be all the time,
that, huh?
and they were there every time. That's the point, dog.
The Lions,
the OG.
The belief is, over the weekend I got caught. I watched Path to the Draft on NFL Network. Okay. They have the 1974 Steelers, who in that draft, the very first overall pick was Ed Too Tall Jones out of Tennessee State. I want you to think about that for a minute. Tennessee State. I mean, how many people had film on him? And he turned out to be a really good player. Then he went into professional boxing, and then he came back and played a long time for the Dallas Cowboys. The Pittsburgh Steelers took Lynn Swann. They took Jack Lambert out of Kent State. They were not afraid to go with lower-profile players. Their philosophy and the Dallas philosophy was best player available. That is Brad Holmes' philosophy. Mike Payton of A to Z Sports had this up recently. Under Brad Holmes, in 2021, they needed a wide receiver. They took a tackle. You're happy with it, yes? Penei Sewell. 2022, they needed an edge. They took Aiden Hutchinson and Jamison Williams, right? In 2023, they needed a corner. What did they do? They took Gibbs and they took Campbell. In 2024, thank you, well done. That's a scary one. Cornerback was the need. They took him. And it's Terrion Arnold. And everybody wants him replaced. And then last year, everybody felt like they needed an edge, and they ended up taking a defensive tackle.
That supposedly, in theory, should help your edge.
Yes, should help your edge. I mean, look what Cincinnati just did. They lost Trey Hendrickson, one of the best pass rushers in football. They lost him because of money. They just traded their 10th overall pick in the draft to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is a proven commodity. He's 28 years old. They signed him to an extension. The Giants couldn't seem to get that extension out of him. They wanted the proven player rather than the rookie because, as you and I were talking during the break, I heard somebody say this on NFL radio today, 45% of first-round picks are impact players.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise you. It really surprised me.
Imagine getting traded from the Giants
to the Bengals. Well, at least, look, you can say what you want. At least the Bengals offense gives you a chance.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? And you're supposed to remember this, and this again on NFL Radio, the amount of pressure that he puts on the quarterback from the defensive tackle position is so much higher than the next D tackle, which was, I just lost his name, from Tampa, outstanding player at Washington, Vita Vea. He's like at 31, whereas Dexter Lawrence is this high. Okay, the discrepancy is amazing. How many pressures he's got from the defensive tackle compared to Vita Vea. So maybe that's what they're looking at. I don't know if Lions fans, how they would feel about something like that, grabbing a proven player, because we always want the shiny new car, but it is an interesting trade that took place over the weekend.
If you can give up your 17 pick and get a guy that's just going to start 16, 17 games for you, you have to do that, especially if it's just for one first rounder. And I think that kind of a deal, I'd be surprised to see Brad not take. It's when he has to give up those multiple first rounders that I don't think he's willing to pull that trigger. But, man, that's a move that I would have given the 17th pick up for all day long.
Dexter Lawrence?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, likewise.
All day.
You're not going to get that type of impact player, I wouldn't guess, at 17.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's not something that there's no way the Giants would have done that. Because although I am surprised they got a first out of it.
I think the Giants would have taken a first pretty much anywhere along the board for him because they weren't going to re-sign him. He wanted out.
Cache County, Compton. Shep, you getting hit in the head with a baseball explains everything. That's a great line. Thank you for that. That's a good laugh. All right, we got to take a quick time out from this with Dr. Pierce. Oh, it's funny. It's really funny. Dr. Pierce and buddies, and then we'll come back and wrap things up on a Monday overreaction edition of the Braylon Edwards Show.
Hey, make sure you tune in tomorrow for BDE. The man, the myth, the doctor, Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He'll be joining Neil and the boys, and then he'll be back here Thursday to join Braylon and Shep on the Braylon Edwards Show. Got the top-tier advice to keep all the athletes and just normal human beings in peak condition. Listen, Braylon trusts him, DMAC trusts him. A lot of professional athletes have trusted Dr. Jeff Pierce to get them back in action. You can learn more at MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or give him a call at that number you see there, 248-426-9944.
All right, get ready to eat great and give back. Monday, April 27th, so a week from today, our friends at Buddy's Pizza, and it's delicious pizza. We ordered it out for our Yurku group on Saturday. Everybody went home happy. Everybody was smiling. Everybody wanted a doggy bag, but I refused to let them. They're going to host the 50th annual Slice for Life fundraiser. You dine in or you carry out anybody's location on the 27th. 20% of the total sales will be donated directly to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. They've been doing this since 1976 and helped raise over $4 million. Enjoy a great meal, support a fantastic cause with Buddies on Monday, April 27th. Enjoy.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like DMAC. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsAndSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve. and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network. Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them, and that's not very nice.
Hey, the guys, they were up in Sault Ste. Marie on Friday at Black Rock.
Did they eat that? Did they eat that on the
They
street?
ate everything on the menu, Shep.
The heavies don't
I'm
disappoint.
surprised you guys even let me do this read because I know Shep loves the food reads. But listen,
Hey, let me ask you this. Did they bring anything back for us?
Hell no, they didn't. They might have on Saturday, but they didn't make it till
Nice
Monday.
job,
As
team
Shep
player.
clutches his hand.
If you have not been
Nice job, team player.
If you have
Remember that from Wedding Crashers? Thanks a lot, team player.
You sandbagging son of a listen. They got 7 locations, including that one up in Sault Ste. Marie. If you haven't been, you've got to go. It's perfect for date night. It's perfect to get your meat on. Pause.
Excuse me?
Check it out. $19.99
That's a drop.
steak and lobster, surf and turf. That's crazy.
got that?
That's
You got
$19.96 pricing, guys. Limited
Boy.
time deal, so get on over. You can check them out. BlackRockRestaurants.com.
Get your meat on.
Simply said, it's great food, right? Simply said, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Great haircuts, great value, cool people, clean place, and cool to sit here and watch all the mock NFL drafts. That's what you could be doing right now if you're at Lady Jane's getting your hair cut. And there's 28 locations throughout the state, easy to find and easy to deal with. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime it is. Wicked off and is awesome. And speaking of NFL draft, we've got the ultimate NFL draft party this Thursday, hi-oh, at Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills. Round 1. That's right, Thursday night, April 23rd. Tune in. We're going to broadcast live from the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. Wall-to-wall NFL draft coverage featuring your favorite Woodward Sports personalities, including Anson, who will be there. Woodward Sports NFL Draft Party live Thursday night. Massage Chair Warehouse. Your ticket to ultimate recovery, relaxation, and, of course, football.
And we back. I wonder what answer we're going to have at that draft party Thursday. And I think a lot will be dictated based on what the Pistons do the day before.
Night.
Yep.
You know, I always give everybody here shit for how much the Lions affect their day. Like, Maz would just come in here like a 8-year-old
Maz would
petulant
be
child.
hot.
Dog.
Yeah.
He's hot as hell.
Bothered.
And I'm like, why are you going to let this team just dictate your move?
Not like you with the Pistons
No.
game. Of course not.
What the hell you're talking
no,
about,
no,
Shep?
no.
What are you talking about?
I saw this. How do you guys feel about Chris Sims, NBC? I mean,
Okay.
take him or leave him.
I hated his daddy.
What? Why? Nice guy.
I hated Phil Sims, man.
As a player or a broadcaster?
I never met him, Shep. I don't have casual conversations with Justin Verlander.
I never said that.
You did before the show.
My microphone wasn't on.
I loved it. Me and Cam were in here. He's like, me and Justin Verlander were arguing about it. I'm like, casual brag.
I said that in the past.
Okay.
In the past, when I was in that space.
No, I have never spoken with Phil Sims in person. Sir.
Okay.
Have you?
No. What I was.
He has.
What I was trying to get to is, do you hate him as a player or as a broadcaster?
Oh,
if you hate him as a player,
I like him as a broadcaster.
Okay.
As a player, I
So
hated
as a
him in
player.
the Giants.
I understand a little bit better. Well, Chris Sims has come out with his first and only mock draft. And the reason I bring this up is because you and I were just talking about a specific player. He has the Lions at 17. I don't need to go through all of it. At 17, Caden Proctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is fine. You had just brought up Caden McDonald, I believe.
No, Caleb Proctor.
Oh, Caleb Proctor.
It might be his brother. I don't know.
Because Caden McDonald, he has him going next. The interesting thing is, he's got Detroit passing on Blake Miller, who he has going at 23, but more importantly, 24, Spencer Fano, who is widely viewed as the best tackle in this draft. It's not Maoyoga, who is from Miami, because many people feel like he's going to move inside. He's going to move to a guard, which to me, I just take the best guard. I take Yonye. But he's got Monroe Freeling going 6th. This is the highest I've seen the tackle from Georgia go. 6th. If the Lions had Spencer Fano from Utah available and they don't take him, how disappointed would you be?
If the pick is Proctor, very. If the pick is Blake, not at all. We talked about him on Friday. No pressures, no sacks the last 2 years, I believe. Absolute player. And I think that he would step in and start over Mahogany immediately. I do like that because, as I talked about on Friday, you signed a guy on a prove-it deal to be your tackle. So you've got to give him that opportunity, I believe. I think that again, this is a stocked offensive lineman draft. I think that you can load up maybe with a traded third-round pick or get a couple guys in the 4th and 5th, and maybe one of them can do what you saw a Mahogany do if you need to do that. But, man, that's passing him up for Proctor. Proctor's the guy I want to stay away from in this draft.
So they have Spencer Fano. There's going to be certain guys you're going to compare the Lions pick with and who they come afterwards. So I know Lions fans, depending on who Detroit takes, they're going to compare Caden Proctor, Spencer Fano, Blake Miller, and Monroe Freeling. Maybe the kid out of Arizona State, Max Ian-Achor. How you say his name? I forget exactly how.
Ian-Achor.
Ian-Achor, okay. The interesting thing is, will you compare them to defensive players? Because Braylon has done that before with, of course, Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons. Would you end up doing that with somebody like Akeem Messidor?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody is... We did the poll last week. I thought it was going to go one way. It went with the other. This town is obsessed with edge, but we also know, as we watched our teams fail to outscore the Steelers, that this offensive line quickly became a problem after it was a long-term strength for this team. So I think that if you end up seeing them take a weird position, if they go for safety or, heaven forbid, Tyson at wide receiver or something like
Thieneman,
that, then it's all over the board. But if it's an offensive or defensive lineman, we're going to hear that for 5 years, the same way that we have heard the Parsons and Penei debate.
It's interesting. He doesn't have Dylan Thieneman going in the first round. And there's a lot of I was listening to a podcast over the weekend regarding the NFL draft. There's a lot of people who like Dylan Thieneman.
Could go top 15, could end up around the 30s.
Let me play this game with you. Maybe we should do it tomorrow, but I'll start it now. Give me, and if you can, try to bring up the teams in the first round. Give me the floor and the ceiling for Monroe Freeling. He's the left tackle out of Georgia. He's only got 18 starts, but he's a big kid and he's super athletic. I want to know what you think the floor and the ceiling is for him and the floor and the ceiling for Spencer Fano, because I don't think Spencer Fano's floor is 24. I think his floor is 15 to Jacksonville, or to Tampa, rather. And I think Monroe Freeling's probably positioned about right at 6 as a ceiling. I don't think he'll probably get past, I would say 13 to the Rams.
I don't think that he goes past 12 either.
That's Dallas.
Yeah.
I think Dallas is looking defense, but go ahead.
For me, that the Fano, honestly, being a guard, those guys slip sometimes.
He's a tackle. Fano's a tackle.
Who am I?
Mauioga or Mauioa.
No, not Maui Goa, the kid from Miami.
Ionye.
That's the one. That's the guard.
Yeah, he's the Penn State product, and he won't go lower than probably 13 or 14.
That's a guy that I could see slipping just because of his position. I think Maui Goa is so talented that wherever he ends up, he's going to be an all-star Pro Bowler. I think a few of these guys could be at play at 17. I'm not sure, though. Everything that's since we've talked about it Friday has the Lions trading up, which could mean that they're going to be trading back, but I have a feeling that the Lions are moving on Thursday.
One way or the other?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think Lions fans will be greatly anticipating that. It depends on what else they get. If they move down,
please,
then people feel, and rightfully so, that they should get they got to get another second, or they got to get a third.
Yeah, the third would be fantastic. You move down, get Blake Miller still, and add that third. Really, really, really love the way this draft looks.
Okay, let's get to what you and Kool-Aid need to deal with, the Earthy Girls. What is the Earthy Girls? Help educate us a little bit.
Well, so Cam asked me a while ago. He's like, "Man, I see all the morels that you find. Can you take me morel mushroom hunting?"
Oh,
of course, Cam. I don't know if you know this, but morels are the second most valuable mushroom, non-psychoactive, on the earth behind truffles. And the yellow morel, the golden morel, the most flavorful, is indigenous to Michigan. Only comes up 1 month a year. They haven't been able to recreate these in, the
lab.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, bro, you can come out. Well, I get a text yesterday. Maybe I should read this one exactly. And I just need some clarification. I think I know, but I need some clarification from Cam while he's here. What up, doll? Hey, would it be cool if I invited a few cool earthy babes to join us next weekend?
You laugh now.
Can you explain cool earthly babes?
This will be interesting.
Basically, non-girly girls, those who appreciate and flourish in the outdoors.
So they won't freak out when we have to do a tick check, not a chick tech, a tick
Or
check
something
afterwards,
else.
and
They will not. They were actually both well aware of
the ticks, the tick problem.
Yes.
Okay, and they're not. They got no problem with thorns or anything like that.
They are earthy girls.
Are they going to be wearing a lot of makeup?
Earthy girls. I would guess earthy girls don't wear a lot of makeup.
Right.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you find these earthy girls? These earthy babes?
Well, you'll find out this weekend.
So I still haven't given
gonna
him the
spread their
answer here.
business.
I haven't said yes or no. I was waiting for this exchange. Were you?
I appreciate both of their privacy.
Should I say yes, Shep?
I think you should.
I think so too.
I think you need to get away. Number one. My bigger question to Cam would be, if they're attractive, I mean, does it require the mushrooms to make them attractive?
They're non-psychoactive.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Then, yeah, I would strongly suggest.
Did you know any earthy babes when you were in high school, college?
Can't say that I necessarily ran with that
Did
crowd.
they call them hippies?
Well, that's what I didn't want to say.
Hippies?
Yeah.
Would you consider them hippies? What are hippies today?
Hippie leaning.
Hippie
leaning.
Wait, what?
I would guess. To be honest with you, Cam might be a little hippie leaning.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
So, yeah, I admit that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's a paradox.
I'm an urban
It's
hippie.
not a negative, by the
Urban
way.
hippie.
You are an urban jock hippie.
Urban jock hippie.
You are a real.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah.
Hash Kush said they smoke weed for sure.
That was one of my next questions. Will they be bringing some earthly treats?
Yes. Yes.
It didn't take him long to answer that
It
question.
all encompasses the earthy babes. Like, you knew already.
I did.
You
did.
you already.
I spent a lot of music festivals. I know the Patchouli Squad well, bro. I know the Patchouli Squad well. Are they watching by any chance?
Maybe one of them may be watching.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Earthly Babe.
Okay, let's get to some super chats and some things. I'm sorry, I'm watching a lot of these memes. Somebody had this where the Pistons is the #1 seed in the East, and it's what these people on a safari, and it looks like this massive lion running up to the truck, and somebody pulls the head off, and it's a little dog. It's a dog.
I saw that when the lion rushing up on him.
Paper tiger.
You could tell when it starts to run a little bit. You're like, well, that doesn't look like the way a lion would run. Anyway, it's too much. It's way too early.
Cache
it's way
County
too early.
corruption. We call earthly girls white witches where I come from.
Ooh, okay. White witches. You switch one letter there, and you could have a problem.
Respect.
Respect. All right, let's get to some super chats. By the way, somebody had
UAM
tweeted out about possible Lions in the first round. Spencer Fano, Blake Miller, Caleb Lomu. Caleb Lomu to me is not a first round pick. Caleb Lomu is a guard who played tackle, and again, at 17, depending, I think Pregnon's better than Lomu at the guard position, and Pregnon's the kid from Oregon, by the way.
Oregon, yeah.
All right, so go ahead, Derek. Kool-Aid, sorry about that.
Oh,
Fire
no
away.
problem. We have a couple super chats here, and shout out to the people for smashing the like button today. If you haven't gotten an opportunity to, go on ahead and hit that like button. But first, super chat in the system, J-Rod Sayers, our guy, has a #1 crown in the chat. $10 says, fellas, I missed you guys' show live Thursday and Friday, but caught up on Saturday while on vacay. He says, I enjoyed a game at both Chicago ballparks, time with family, and great food. Here's to a great week Keep
for
up
him.
the great work.
That's
Hey,
so
shout
cool.
out. Shout out.
That's interesting that he liked where the White Sox play.
I was going to say
on the
Wrigley or
south side.
Kaminsky. Which one?
Well,
Wrigley all day?
it's now True.
Yeah, don't call it
I
that.
forget that place is a hole.
That's what I hear.
Okay, it sucks.
And
No, it
there's
does.
and there's like 82 people in attendance for these games these days, right?
It's just, I mean, whoever designed it there's no way they can be proud of that. So it's obviously Wrigley. Although I get crucified for this quite a bit. I think Wrigley's a little overrated, personally. I think Wrigleyville's awesome.
It's just old. Yeah. It's just old.
I think Wrigleyville's awesome. Today, I believe, 1912 was when Fenway Park
was gonna say
first constructed, and Tiger Stadium.
Fenway or Wrigley?
Fenway by
All day?
far.
Okay.
It's not even close. I'm not a big Red Sox guy, And Tiger Stadium opened the same day as Fenway Park, which bothered me to this day that it's still not there. It bothers me, okay, because I wanted it to be the oldest, and all you had to do was renovate it. But look, where they are and everything, I'm past it. Anything else from
One more
Chat?
super chat here, $5 super chat. Michael Wary, our
Light
light
police.
police, he says, "What do you guys think about the Tigers being named an ideal fit for Dalton Varsho of the Blue Jays?"
So some decent power, really good defensive player. I do like him. He's a center fielder, and he's a left-handed stick. So that's part of my issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing against him. I think he's a good player. I like him. I don't know why would Toronto get rid of him? Would be my question.
I'd take him. Got a problem in center field, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but you also have a guy. I don't know his contract situation. I'd have to do more research on that. You also have a guy in center field who looks pretty damn good right now in the minor leagues.
And Parker's out for a while, yeah?
Yeah, he's out for a while. Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah.
So how does I guess it would have to. How does it solve your issue? He's a switch hitter. Dalton Varsho's he's a switch hitter. So how does it solve your issue of getting a lot of right-handed power? I'm not sure it does. I'll have to look at his splits on Baseball America.
Michael Wary, he's a free agent after this year. So he could be on the trading block.
Yeah, it could be. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Michael.
Thank you, Michael
Way to do your
Weary.
stuff.
Always showing up in the chat.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I think they need a right-handed power stick, and I don't think Dalton Varsho fills that void for them. But we'll have to wait and see. But he does. Wait, I'm sorry. He does bat left. Okay, I said maybe he's a switch hitter. He does. He's a lefty.
Yeah, we got a lot of those.
So if he's a lefty, how does that help your issue? And he's the most homers he's ever hit in a single season is 27. He can give you 20 bombs from the left side, I guess so. But boy, you're really left-handed dominant. That's an issue, I think. This from Supreme Lending. Fire away.
Hey, listen, guys, before we get out of here, we want to tell you about buying a home or refinancing. It's a big decision, probably your biggest investment of your lifetime. So get ahead of it. Give Chris and Chet a call now so that they can get you prepared for what you're going to do in a month or 3 months or a year from now. That is the key. Don't be afraid, because these guys are there to help you. It's not like all of the other guys that are just going to rifle you through the system. These guys are going to sit you down and create a plan to get you to the closing day. 0% down payment, and you can receive up to $500 off your appraisal when you mention Woodward Sports. Give Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending a shot.
Dalton Varsho bets .217 in his career against righties, by the way. It's a bit of a problem. He's got power, but from that side too.
That would make him the second best hitter in our team, though, right?
I would say no to that. We are over. My apologies. I got us off the rails. We'll fix it tomorrow. Heavyweights are coming up at 5. Don't forget us tomorrow, 2 o'clock here on Woodward Sports. Have a great rest of your Monday, everybody, and don't freak out. The Pistons will respond.
They better.
Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And Shep.
Do you believe this comeback.
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.